Well, of course, after we had found all the things down in the staging room, we just wanted to push it as far as we possibly could.
We'd cleared off all the rock and debris at the bottom of the stage room, but now we were calling it the second restriction. And it was time to see if we could get beyond that.
This restriction is very, very narrow. It's about 12 inches wide and about 30 inches long.
Now I finally slipped through and I found myself in a corridor. And I looked down and wow, we have cave here.
When I came through the restriction, I immediately got entangled in a line. And after I solved that problem and got untangled, I was amazed at what I saw. There was this large formation. It was a rock that had been eroded on both sides by the flow of the spring, causing it to be shaped like an airplane wing.
I just barely made it through the second restriction. I couldn't believe that there was so much more cave below us.
We swam down and there's another restriction. It was about the same size as the second restriction. Now in this system, any place that you can actually turn around, we call a room. Below the third restriction is a room. It's like a tube shape. It's about 5 feet in diameter and about 15 feet long. There's a gravel floor. It's on a slope.
The water flow is really strong here. We started looking around for the source, and we see this small opening just to the north side that was choked up with gravel.
So here we are at 85 feet, and this restriction looks too small, and we think the exploration is over.
This had been a long dive. The nitrogen was building up. I looked at my computer, and it was time to go.
We started having some problems. Every time one of us would go through a restriction, we would get tangled in the line.
Okay, you're in an awkward situation. You're halfway through a restriction and you're tangled in your line and you can't move. In this system, the line became a bigger hazard than getting lost would be. So we thought about it for a long time and we decided to remove the line in the area that we had explored and were real familiar with.
This system is so vertical and with no side passages, very few. We thought it would be best without the line.
At the turn of the century, Eureka Springs was becoming famous as a resort city. The springs were thought to have healing power, and the community was growing. At this time, it was the second largest city in Arkansas. Even now, it's a popular tourist spot. Early on, the spring was used as a water source and to drive mills to cut lumber and mill grain. But in 1903, the owners of Blue Springs started to realize the importance of the grounds as a tourist attraction. They decided to contain the water with a concrete cap and build a wall along the edges of the spring.
Well, at that time they were doing a lot of construction here, and they diverted the flow of the spring.
And so they pushed a lot of the construction debris down into the cave, concrete chunks, leftover gravel, all kinds of construction stuff.
I guess it was a convenient place to dump it. It didn't help us out much. It choked up the fourth restriction. We all talked and decided that we must go on, not give up. So we decided to remove some of the gravel and see if there's more caves there.
The divers design a labor-intensive bucket brigade operation.
One diver would be down in the gravel room at 85 feet bagging gravel. Because of the silt, it would be very low visibility there.
He would hand it up to another diver above the third restriction. And then he would swim it up and hand it through the second restriction.
One diver in the staging room would grab the bag, hook it on the rope,
A diver would pull the bag up and swim it to the side. Then it would be emptied into a container, and later we would examine it and see if there were any artifacts or native stone in it.
The gravel moving went on dive after dive and month after month.